Hello, my beautiful friends. I remain on this crappy computer, but hopefully tomorrow I'll get a different computer. Things will be greater. I can find my ring light, and then I'll have some light other than this light. But we're in my kitchen having a cup of tea. So I have been thinking about ways that we bring light and love in this world. So I used AI, right? I said, AI, what are ways that I can bring light and love? And said, oh, what a very nice question you have asked us. AI is so polite. And it was all the things you would think of. Think of like smile at people, right? None of these things cost money. Smile at people, let somebody go in front of you in line, hold the door open for somebody, say a kind word, make a compliment, a genuine one, not, patronizing or, whatever. And, it was all the things that you think of when you think of like, oh, that's a nice person. That person does nice things, right? And I think those are easy things to do to be nice and bring light and love in the world. But when I'm watching these NDEs and I'm kind of down that rabbit hole at the moment, and I listen to their message, which is, no matter what culture they're from or what religion they were from or whatever, it's all the same message, which is that we have a purpose here, and that purpose is to love one another and to bring love into the world. And I think, well, how can we do that, right? Well, one is being nice, right? Like the things that make you a nice person, continue to do those things. And most of you probably already do those nice person things. Those are the kind of people that watch channels like this, right? But what are some other ways? And I think the ways that, that they're talking about, like when they do their life review, if they do that, or the one woman talked about seeing a blueprint of her life. And whether you believe in any of that or not, I think it's worthwhile to say, like, how can you act in love in times when people are jerks, right? Because we live in a contentious world, and we live in a world where people, may or may not agree with our political views, or they may not, or, they may not like us or whatever. How do you act in the moment when you really want to just tell them to, pee up a rope? How in those moments can you act in love? And I think that's really where the work is, right? So in my meditation this morning, I have a tendency to be so serious, and Spirit was saying to me, you need to live in the moment. You need to live in the now, right? I do a lot of reflective work with ancestors and with, trying to figure out if I had a past life. Clearly I was not Marie Antoinette in a past life. I was probably just some ordinary person, so, and maybe have no trauma to heal. Because sometimes when you see, when you hear stories about people that can remember their past lives, especially children, it's usually something tragic or horrible that happened that they have to resolve and solve in this lifetime. So, maybe that just doesn't exist for me or whatever. Whatever. So, but the voice was very clear to me saying, listen, you live now, right? Don't always live in the past. Don't always, don't put all of your energy back there. You need your energy for today. And what can you do today to be kind? And what opportunities do you have that you can think about others and be a friend, be a good friend? And I'm thinking yesterday, the graduating class of DeSales, where I teach English and cybercrime, it's a Catholic university, so the president is a priest, and he just delivered the greatest message to the students, which is, to be a good friend, right? And he relied on a quote from Mark Twain that, I can't remember the exact quote, but it's one that I love, which is like, there's two important times in your life: the day that you're born, and then the day that you remember why. And, what is your why? Like, what good can you do on the earth? Can you be a good friend? And that doesn't cost money, right? Being a good friend doesn't cost money. Being a good friend to strangers, being hospitable, being charitable, these are things that are not, they don't have price tags on them, so we can do those things. And I think the real challenge is to be a good friend or a kind person when you're being kicked down, right? So that'll be the work for the week. But I wanted to pull a rune with you and ask Spirit, what should I focus on? What should I focus on this week? So it's my rune bag. If you're following along in the playbook, I got these runes in Scotland. I'm just feeling around. They're not raised in any way, so I have no way to know which stones are which. I don't memorize their size or shape or anything like that. It's not like a casino, right? But I just kind of feel around for one that feels different or gets stuck in my fingers. Sometimes that takes a little bit of time. All right, what do we have here? We have Isa, which is ice. I just threw it at the computer. I don't know if that means anything. So Isa is all about being stuck or being in a slippery slope. So I often considered one of the menacing stones. I always think it's a really good reminder because, like, ice skating is beautiful, but you can skate out of control, and you can be out of control of your emotions. You can get stuck in an energy. But let's rely on the book because it always points out some really good things. And I think that's just a reminder from Spirit, sort of what I heard in meditation this morning, which is, don't get, I was getting very sad, just missing my family and frustrated that I couldn't find my past life if I have one, or I couldn't, really, I didn't feel real connected to my ancient ancestors in ways that people on YouTube think or say that they are. And I was getting stuck in that. And then I just heard this very clear voice, like, you don't live there, you live here. You spend your energy here, let that inform you, and obviously, be reverent and be informed by it. But you live in this energy and you live in this world. So use your kindness here. So what I have written down for Isa is clarity, stasis and challenges, introspection, watching, waiting, unstoppable force of ice, stops and pauses, focus and self-control, lack of change, stuck, it can be a warning, everything freezes around you, the power within us, what is coming from within us, icy conditions of your life, you feel locked in place, skating out of control, be patient because ice does melt, have self-control, pause, be careful, don't slip, process of growth, don't fall asleep. And of course, there's no inversion to the Isa stone. So I think it's just a reminder of what Spirit was saying to me, which is don't get stuck in that energy. Like, don't get so like focused on, what the ancestors did or what the ancestors had to go through, that you can't focus on the here and now and the life you're living now. So I think that's a really great message to have. So I am just going to pause here for a second because somebody's coming in the door, and I'll be right back. My house is always full of interruptions, but I did pull cards while I was waiting because I'm on this 15-minute limit. So some cards came out. These came out together, Standing Stones and Bloodwood. Standing Stones says Ancestors, Gateway, Sacred, and Bloodwood is Wisdom, Power, Transformation. I think that goes along really well with the Isa stone because, I'm very connected to my ancestors, and sometimes I don't feel them. And sometimes I get frustrated and sad because I feel like other people have so much of an easier way doing it. Like, how do they connect? And then it's just a reminder that I am connected, and I'm connected through stones, right? I collect stones. People bring me rocks from all over. I have one coming from Ireland from my buddy Chris. Just a reminder that, these skills that you learn from the meditations, from the reflections that you do are meant for this world, right? They're meant to help you be actionable in this world and to be kind. And then this is one of my favorite cards, this Gatekeeper card. It's like a dragon looking through a portal, and inside this, I'm not good at this. Inside there always looks like a man, and it says Gatekeeper, Power, Abundance. So you're watching your wealth grow, or you're keeping an eye on your wealth, you're keeping an eye on the things, and there's just this watchful eye, and whether that's your eye or somebody else's eye, I think it's and really that little eye looks like the Isa symbol too, like just watch and wait and keep an eye on things. Don't let things slip out of control. Don't go so far down that you get depressed, right? Which is what I tend to do. And then don't worry so much, right? Live in the present, live in abundance, be grateful for the gifts that you have, and then use those gifts in this world, in this reality. So I feel like that's the message for today. And I had hikers in the yard last night, and I'm going to go and we're slack packing them. So I'll take some water to them and their packs when they're done with this really hard climb out of my house. So I think that we have opportunities every day to be kind in ways that we don't expect, and also in ways that we do expect. So I am wishing you all the best in light and love. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Be well. Bye-bye.